Welcome to the Gifts Podcast, where we unlock the keys to a vibrant, fulfilling life. I'm your host, Elaine Lombardi, and I invite you to join me on a gentle journey toward your future. One where you open yourself up to new possibilities, new experiences, and greater fulfillment. Today's guest is Jennifer Conway, the visionary behind Conscious Business Answers. Her mission is to ignite your inner spiritual entrepreneur by crafting tailor made strategies and plans for growth and harmony, which she refers to as the intersection of magic and strategy. Jennifer's journey began within a Fortune 100 corporation where she concealed her authentic self to fit the corporate mold. Her path soon led her to a higher calling. Jennifer's story of spiritual awakening and personal growth taught her to seamlessly blend her intuitive spiritual connection with an understanding of data and analytics. Her expertise has graced some of the most prominent figures in the online marketing world.
So, welcome, Jennifer. It's so nice to have you on the show today.
Oh, thank you. It's wonderful to be here with you.
Yeah. So, one of the things that I love doing is I know you have a business, and we're going to get into talking about that too. But I really like to get to know, who is Jennifer? What's something
Mhm.
that you want me and our viewers to know more about you as just a person?
Fun question. I am a dog mom. I
Mm.
have a Chihuahua mix and a Basenji, which the Basenji is the dog that I've wanted for as long as I can remember. And they're both my little hearts. Um, let's see. My favorite thing to do with my husband is to ride our motorcycles. We just
Oh,
love to hit the road. So that's immensely fun and freeing. Um,
mhm.
and
We're bike people, but more like the pedal kind.
I get that. I have been a pedal bike person too.
Mhm.
Wasn't until I was 50 that I became a motorcycle person.
Okay. But I gotta say, there's something to be said about those e-bikes, especially when you're
Oh,
going up the hill. I
mhm.
love them.
Oh, see, I haven't tried one yet.
Oh,
I'll have to
fun.
do that. Yeah,
Yeah.
to do that. What's the third thing? My the reason, and it is kind of business focused, but it's also like what I end up talking to friends about and talking to family about is my belief so strongly that there is magic in this world and that we all have it. It generally is what we get directly from the universe. It's our intuition, it's all of those things. And I think that we really need to grab that and harness it and just run with it right now. I think
Mhm,
it's so
mhm.
important right now. It's just like, and
Yeah.
that's why I talk about it with everybody because I'm like, oh, now's the time, grab it. Be that beautiful, perfect, unicorny you that you want to be.
So true. That's so much a part of my book too.
Yeah.
It's the gifts that we can get and also give to the world. What are our gifts? What's in our treasure chest? Yeah, well,
Hmm.
I'm so glad you brought that up.
I love that treasure chest. I like that.
Yeah, yeah. So let's get into a little bit about you. I know you came from the corporate world and you kind of changed gears. Let's talk about that.
Yeah. Yep.
Why did you change gears? I mean, what was going on?
So I did came from a Fortune 100 company where I was very much the square peg being like crammed into a round hole and just couldn't do it anymore. Literally like could not imagine getting up, driving into my corporate job
Mm,
one more day. So I decided this was late 2000s. So I decided like so many other people at that time, I'm going to go be a coach. I
Oh,
had
okay.
no idea what it was like to be in business online, just none.
Mhm.
So I learned a lot over the next few years. And that's also when I started digging into like the spiritual side of me, that unicorn authentic piece that we all have, that intuitive piece. And I was blessed to go to work for one of the biggest online personal development people in the country and run her multi-million dollar mastermind. And of course, like so many other people you see online, she had a business in a box, and everybody that came to work with her used that outline, except it doesn't
Mhm.
always work for
Yeah,
everybody.
yeah,
And, I got to work with the people that it wasn't working with, but couldn't really color outside the lines the way I wanted to. And that's when I decided I really need to stay in integrity with her and with myself and go and find a way to do this that helps people that need to be able to color outside of the lines.
yeah. I love that. I love using all the colors in my coloring box,
Yes.
and I love going outside the lines. I'm with you on that.
It makes a huge difference, and I think it's so important for us as business owners to remember, and even people that haven't started their business but they're looking at all the models they can use. What can you take from that model that feels really, really good to you, and what can you leave? You
Yeah.
know, you don't have to take every piece. Take
Mhm.
what feels really good to you, and you'll find the model that works for you.
Yeah. How does collaboration fit into all of that?
Yeah. It's, when we first started talking, I really started thinking about collaboration and kind of how it's worked for me over time.
Mhm.
And it looked very different when I was first starting the business than it does now. Primarily because when you're starting, so often you want to collaborate or work with people that have a much more established business. So
Okay.
collaboration can be anything from, doing a master class together to doing a live together to running a summit together. It can
Yeah.
cover a huge scope, but when you're just starting out, you may not have a giant list. You may not have giant reach on social. And really, to grow the way you probably want to, you want to work with people that have more reach than you do. So
Right.
then, so then how do you come up with a collaboration that feels good to both of you, that works for both of you?
Exactly. Mhm.
And that's where, and I learned this from somebody else, but that's where being really conscious of all of the tasks that are required to make that collaboration successful becomes important. Because if
Mhm.
the other person has a 5,000 person list and you have a 100-person list, you probably need to do a little bit more to get this collaboration up and moving than the person that's really bringing the names and the list
Yes.
to the group. So if you know what tasks are required, you, rather than splitting those tasks, say 50-50 between the two of you take a bigger chunk of the tasks. Say you do
Okay.
75% of them, or you do the tasks that that other person really doesn't like to do.
Mhm.
But it's something to really help that partnership, because that's what a collaboration really is, feel equal and beneficial to both parties. And it's
Yeah.
such a simple way to take away that concern about working with somebody who may have a much bigger reach than you do.
That is really good insight. Would you mind going over some of the tasks that might come into play for somebody that's just starting out that wants to reach out to somebody that has a larger following?
Absolutely. That's a great question. Um,
Great.
so, a lot of folks with a bigger audience may have somebody in the background that's actually doing graphic design for them. So they might be creating their social posts, the design for social posts, or actually setting up social posts for them. So if you say your second or third or fourth love is Canva
Yeah.
and you make really great social posts, that's a great thing to offer to do. You can
Mhm.
still use their language and the words that they want to use, but that actually takes a task that they're paying for normally off of their plate. So that's a good thing. Another good thing might be reaching out to people that the two of you want to reach out to, maybe bring in as additional collaborators or want to have speak on your summit or your podcast, whatever it might be, um,
Mhm.
rather than having them do it. And you can even say, hey, I'm Jennifer, I'm a friend of Amy's, and we're doing this really cool thing together. That's a time consuming thing,
It
you know?
is.
So
Yeah.
it takes a time consuming thing off of their plate. And
Mhm.
that's kind of the way I look at it. What can I do for them that is time consuming that they would normally have to pay for? Or maybe if I know them really well, something that they just don't like to do. They
Mhm.
may not like to put the first round of language together for the marketing page that you use or the landing
Mhm.
page you use. So that's a great thing. Make the first draft of that kind of information, because we all know once the first draft is made, everything after that gets a little bit easier.
Yes.
So if you can do that, again, you're doing something that really is time consuming for them.
This is really helpful. So I would say putting together like a portfolio for yourself and saying, "This is what I can offer you."
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
I
Being
love that.
organized. Yeah.
Mhm,
It's
mhm.
being really organized. These are wonderful tips.
Thanks.
Yeah.
They're, all learned, unfortunately, the hard way.
Oh, okay.
So
Well, what
yeah.
are some hurdles that you had to overcome?
One of them was definitely being the new kid on the block.
Yeah.
And knowing that I need to create visibility, I need to be able to reach more people online, be in front of more people. But how do I do that when I have a list of 10 people and all the people I want to partner with are so much bigger?
Yeah.
So knowing how I can help them and actually offering that immediately so that they don't immediately go, oh, well, she's got 10 folks. I'm just going to move on.
Mhm.
You're willing to put skin in the game
Right.
immediately. And that
Mhm.
makes such a huge difference. And it lets them know, like, you're serious. You're not just a kind of flash in the pan. Is that what they say? Flash in the pan
Something
that
like
isn't
that,
going to
yeah.
keep working on this. Yeah.
Right, right. Yeah, just kind of prove your worth, you know?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And have your message honed enough and share that so that when they look at you, they immediately see that you're not competition, but
Yes.
you could be a good collaborator. You can be a good bolt on or in addition to whatever it is that they're offering. You solve another problem that their clients have.
Mhm. How much of that competition game is there between people, though?
I-
'Cause
I
it depends on their personality too. Some women are don't share,
no.
you know?
And I think it depends on the group that you serve, or your
Mhm,
topic. Because, for instance, I serve, heart led, purpose driven, spiritual folks who tend to be more collaborative than, say, attorneys will be.
mhm.
So that's definitely some of it. And I'm sure that within every one of those groups that might seem less collaborative, you can find the people.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
can find the ones that want to play.
Mhm. It's kind of that karma thing.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely.
I wanted to ask you, in collaborating, Is there ever any money exchange between who you're collaborating with? In other words, I know that a lot of podcasters will ask for a fee.
Mhm.
How does that play into it? That's not really a collaboration, though, is it?
Right, not really.
You're paying for a service, basically.
Yeah,
I
you're
think
paying
so
for a
too.
service. You're paying for the marketing that it gives you, I
Mhm.
think. But to your question, collaboration can shift into something that looks more like a JV partnership, and JV is a joint venture partnership.
Mhm.
And in that case, you may get to a point where money changes hands. So if you have a partner that is helping you by promoting you to their audience, and you're offering to that audience a package that they pay for or a program that they pay for every person who purchases, you may give part of that purchase price to the person you're collaborating with or your JV partner.
Mhm.
In that case, you are kind of paying for access too, but they're not guaranteed anything back. So it behooves them to really put a lot of time, effort, and love into sharing you with their audience.
Mhm. So it's not quite an affiliate or a sponsorship, right?
Right, right. This with a JV partnership, you are much more likely to actually get on a call with your partner in front of all of their clients that they've invited to come and really share information with their clients. You may even be teaching a master class, or you may be teaching a master class in conjunction with your partner, something that really helps their clients get to know you
Mhm.
versus an affiliate relationship where you're not conversing one on one with their clients, you're giving the partner information and copy and probably images they can share with their clients.
Mhm. Right.
So there's a higher hurdle there because
Mhm.
their clients don't get to know you as well with an affiliate partnership as they do with a joint venture.
Right. I know that I'm seeing affiliates are huge now in
Mhm.
the especially with YouTubers. And a
Yeah.
lot of them are they're putting together their own websites to promote the products.
Mhm.
It's huge.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, it can get really complex and really complicated. I know some folks that when they do joint ventures, they do the same thing. They'll design an entire website, copy, marketing copy, videos, social posts, and give it to the partner to use to help promote whatever it is they're doing, a master class or whatever it might be. So it can become a big venture on your part, and I have had clients who have done joint ventures and made their take home was 2 or $250,000. So, depending on who you're working with, it's
That's
really
true.
important or it's really
Yeah.
impactful. Yeah.
How is that different than like a white label?
Generally, the way I have seen them, there isn't any of your personal content in it, or it's very minimal
Mm,
compared to, say, if I wrote an ebook compared to if I take an ebook that's already written and white label it. Even if I add my little spin to it, there's less of me in it.
okay. Hmm, interesting. And then there's the whole sponsor thing too. That's different. That's a little bit it's sort of like an affiliate, but a sponsor is really invested
Mhm, mhm.
in your success as well.
Yeah, and depending on what you're doing, I'm most familiar with using sponsors for events, um,
Mhm.
who will either, pay to get their name in front of your folks, and it could be something as involved as they actually get on stage and
Mhm.
talk to your people at the event. It could be that they just, buy the notebooks for the event. There's a whole
Yeah.
continuum of what they could do.
So many
Yeah.
things. Okay, well, what about our own money mindset on a personal level? How does that all play into everything?
It is huge. Yeah. I think the way I think of money, and this has evolved over time, but the way I think of money now is creating a friend relationship with money.
Mm,
So I want money in my life as a friend, and I want to be able to take it and do all the things you want to do with your friends. You want to help them grow, you want to help them multiply, you want to keep them close, but see them spread their wings a little bit too and take a little bit of risk. And it kind of it makes it a little bit less fraught when I think about, them as being friends and making you know, every time I do an investment and it pays off really well, then my money just had a bunch of little baby monies, you know?
I love this angle that you're going at.
Well, it's really and I know, in the US, we're just not taught
Yeah.
to have a good relationship with money. We're not taught to have any relationship with money, really, unless we get it from our parents.
Mhm.
And so part of it for me was learning that once I made friends with money and it had all its little babies, it was okay to keep it, right? Because we sometimes have a skewed perspective of what wealth means or what just having money means. So
Mhm.
if you're in the spiritual community, there is a very strong bias that you are not spiritual if you're making money. And
Mhm.
it's such a fallacy. Um, I will never forget a conversation I had with the girlfriend who had two boys at home at the time. She was putting through school, paying her electric bill, buying the food for the kids, everything. And some months she couldn't pay the electric bill.
Uh-huh.
But every time she went out to eat, she took her leftovers and gave it to somebody who was homeless on the street, which is lovely and admirable. But I also knew that she was charging practically nothing for her services.
Oh, okay.
So I said to her, and we had had the money conversation before, and she's like, "Oh, but I just can't charge that much. I want to be able to serve everybody." And we've all heard it. And
Yep.
I finally said to her one day, if you charge what your services are truly worth,
Mhm.
and you can take that money and build a shelter
Yeah.
that feeds 50 persons a day, gives them a place to sleep,
Mhm.
is that more impactful than what you're doing right now?
Right.
So it was interesting because I could see her head go.
Yeah.
And it was such a huge shift for her, but it's so important to realize that what you're doing has value and that you can make more of a difference in this world if you have the money to do things.
Mhm.
Whatever that, I don't care what that is, whatever your version of good is.
Mhm. Mhm.
You know, so
It's almost like you have to shift your mind to be more philanthropic.
yes, that
Mhm.
is an excellent way of putting it. Yes,
Yeah.
you do. It's more philanthropic. It's almost less about the individual
Yeah.
that you're helping when it comes to that kind of thing is
Mhm.
fascinating. I like that. It is you have the opportunity to be a philanthropist, doesn't matter where you are. You just
Yeah.
have to
Yeah.
allow yourself to do that.
Yeah. This
Yeah.
is great. This is a great conversation. So much value. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you. It's fun. I love to do this.
Yeah. So what other wisdom do you want to share with us today?
Mm.
It can be on any topic you want.
Oh, well, no. Um, one thing I shared already, but I want to highlight it, and that
Okay.
is, go work with people that are a success. Absolutely.
Mhm.
But take from them what works really well from you and what resonates with you. And that doesn't mean that everything that they're going to give you is going to resonate with you. And that's okay because
Mhm.
I've seen so many people try to do exactly what this or that guru said and end up very unhappy. But
Yes.
if you take from this person and take from this person, you will find the mix that best serves you and your soul.
Mhm.
The other thing is, I promise you, there is not a single solitary person out there that is an overnight success. I
Yeah.
promise. And we see it all the time. And the people that you think are super, super successful just based on whatever it is, their social or their YouTube or whatever it might be,
Mhm.
may not be. Don't put somebody on a pedestal just by what you see immediately right in front of you. Everybody has a story. Everybody's been through something, and that's
Mhm.
okay. And that means that you're going to go through some things that might not feel great, but you'll get through it and you'll be stronger for
Yeah. What do you think about imposter syndrome?
it.
Huge.
Huge, huge. Somebody said to me, this was years ago, right when I first started, that if you've read 10 books about a specific topic, you know more than probably 90% of the population on that one topic
Mhm.
because you've read 10 books,
Mhm.
which doesn't seem like a lot, but it is when you think about all the things that are happening in our lives. And there is always somebody that doesn't have the experience that you have.
Yeah.
There's always somebody looking for your specific experience. There's a reason, even if you just started your business, there's a reason you started it.
Mhm.
Figure out what that reason is. That's what makes you a different from everybody else that started their business, but it's
Mm.
also what the person, the client that's going to work with you is looking for.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
keep
That
that in mind.
gets Yeah, that goes really into what's your niche, and I think sometimes that's the most difficult part to figure out, like, because
Yeah,
you wanna be there, you wanna serve people, and you want to reach people that want your services. I've heard that's one of the most difficult things to figure out is what is your niche?
I
Because
think.
it's like you wanna be true to yourself, but
Mhm.
is there a market for that out there? If you wanna make money, you've gotta marry those 2 things.
Yeah, and it can be hard, right? It can be hard to take a look at what you're doing and realize that people may need it, but they don't want to pay for it.
Yeah.
And that's where you give people what they think they want
Mhm.
and then actually give them what they need. So you decorate the door with what they think they want, what they think their problem is. And then when you're working with them, you give them what they really need. And it
Mhm.
sounds counterintuitive isn't the right word. I don't know what the right word really is.
Mhm.
It just sounds a little bit backwards, but
Mhm.
it really is the case,
Yeah,
because some
this past year, I've had a lot of I've took a lot of business classes, And they all say, don't put your course together before you actually have an audience and you know what they want from it.
Mhm.
And
Absolutely.
I could never quite wrap my head around that, because how can I go out and try to sell a course when I haven't even created it yet? You know,
Mhm.
it was so backwards to me.
Yeah,
So,
it does feel backwards. But again, that's what it's it's one of the best ways to make sure or to ensure that you're putting something together that people are gonna wanna purchase, so you don't spend a
right.
lot of time kind of spinning, but it
Mhm.
sounds so counterintuitive to anybody that's especially just starting, especially if you come from corporate or a brick and mortar, it just sounds that's not right.
Yeah, because I think the tendency is, well, I'm going to build it and they will come.
Mhm,
Not
mhm.
always the case.
No, not always the case, and I've been there.
Mhm.
You know? So, yeah, definitely and it doesn't mean that you have to talk to clients. If you don't have any if you're just starting and you don't have any clients, it doesn't mean that you have to talk to clients. Talk to people that are your ideal client, that
Mhm.
are the people that you want to come in the door, so that when you craft it, you're crafting what will draw your ideal client.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
Great.
it's so much when you get started.
There is so much. Yeah. It's I find it's fascinating though.
Mhm,
Yeah.
it is, it is,
Yeah.
and it's fun to see how it works for different people.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah.
So is there anything else you'd like to share today?
Know that you're gonna have really, really bad days,
Hmm.
and that's okay. Not everybody is ever going to understand how challenging and exciting and difficult and frustrating and fun and joyful this whole business thing is. Very, very few people will ever understand that.
Mhm.
And it's okay to have really bad days. The key is have your bad day, feel your feels, yell in the shower, yell at the trees, and then step back and go, okay, here we go. And
Mhm.
start again because you can do this and the world does need what you have to offer.
Yeah. And one of the things that I know I've come across, and a lot of the YouTube creators that I know, the comments. Don't let that one comment just steer you, because of all the ones that you get, that one is going to bug you the most. You
Yeah,
could have 50 positive comments coming your way, and then that one will come on and it just throws you off. Don't give that comment the power to do
right.
that to you on
Yeah,
whatever platform you are on, whether it be, Facebook or YouTube or Instagram or TikTok. But,
yeah.
there's so many out there.
So
Yeah.
true. So
Choose
true.
your battles for sure on that.
Yes.
Don't engage. It's not worth it.
No, it
You
really
know.
isn't. It really isn't.
Yeah. Gosh, it was wonderful to talk to you today, Jennifer. So many nuggets of wisdom you shared with us.
Yeah, that's you have really good questions, and I think it's there's so much out there to share with everybody, and there's so much to get into, and it's
Yeah.
for me, it's fun. So I
Yeah.
love to share.
So, how can people get in touch with you and find out more about you and the things that you offer?
Let's see. The You can find me on Facebook,
Yeah.
Conscious Business Answers, or Jennifer Conway. I'm on there both. You can also find me on Instagram at CBA Strategy, and that stands for Conscious Business Answers Strategy.
And you have a website?
Have a website, Conscious Business Answers. Yep. And there's a link for people to contact me there. And, if you reach out on Facebook or Instagram, I always get back to folks that reach out to me.
Mm. So would you say your main business is as a business strategist?
Primarily as a business strategist, helping people get from where they are to where they would love to be. And, that sounds like a purely tactical adventure. But for many of us, it's also a leadership venture because the leader we are today may not be the leader we need to be to get to that next level. And, helping people shift personally is such a gift to watch. So I just love it.
Yeah. I have one more question that popped up as far as that. What do you think about like having virtual assistants, and can you do it all or is it not advisable to do it all?
um, I don't advise doing it all. I do recommend that you have some sense of how long it takes or what's entailed. And I say that because you can blindly go out and get a VA, but if you're asking your VA to say create those social posts, it's so much easier to know what they're charging you for and whether or not that is fair or in the realm of a reasonable price point. If you know that, hey, it takes me 15 minutes to create one very simple social post on Canva. So if I'm asking them to create 20 and they tell me it's going to take an hour and a half, okay. If they tell me 20 is going to take 10 hours, but
Mhm.
so have a sense of it. If you're starting to use a CSM tool like Kajabi or Kartra or any of the many ones out there, take the
Yeah.
time to figure out like at least the very basics of it. So
Yeah.
if you need to do something, you can actually do it. Um, and you have some sense of what you're asking a VA to do. The only person I have working for me right now is a consultant that does all of my social posts, actually creates the posts and schedules them and puts them up, and does my back end for my website because I have tried. And the time it takes me to do it is just
Yeah.
not good. And the frustration level, that's not good either.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. That's true. I think it's good to know a little bit about each platform that you're on, just so
Mhm.
you even know what questions to ask, so you're getting the right kind of service that you're paying for.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of services offer to respond to comments that are coming in or respond to notifications. I really
Mhm.
encourage you, do that yourself, at
Yeah.
least until it's so overwhelming that you just can't possibly. And then there are probably still some you should respond to yourself because there is nothing like the personal touch. There really isn't.
You really have to be in the game.
Mhm.
You have to
Absolutely.
be a player as
Yeah.
well.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, alright. Thank you so much again, Jennifer.
Oh, thank you. It's so much fun.
Yeah, it was fun. We'll have to do this again on another topic, maybe.
Ooh,
I think the VA thing is like a whole topic in itself.
true.
Yeah, as far as
That,
giving
yeah.
tips. Yeah, so,
Mhm.
alright. Well, I look forward to having you back on again.
Oh, well, thank you, Elaine. This has been just wonderful.
Great, great. Okay, thank you.
Life's journey is full of choices, but following your heart will always guide you towards a life full of purpose, joy, and meaning. What is your heart telling you to do today? Share it below and let's cheer each other on. My hope for you is that you step into your future with joy, balance, and purpose. If you got value from this episode, please like, share, and subscribe for more inspiring stories and conversations like this one. Until next time, take care and keep unlocking the gifts within.